I made a horrible mistake. Tell Anthony I'm sorry.
That is called one thing. That's called being a bull.
News surrounding the upcoming Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight has taken a dramatic turn. Reports say Jake Paul has been taken into custody, and the situation has cast serious doubt on whether the match will go ahead. After the altercation involving Joshua's camp, the arrest has shaken fans, leaving many wondering if this highly anticipated event might be scrapped before it ever reaches the ring.
Stubborn, and he doesn't understand what the business means to us. So, again, this is not something that we do often, but we're not fucking...
Jake Paul is stepping into major turmoil as he heads toward a showdown with Anthony Joshua. His recent arrest has thrown the entire event into uncertainty, raising the possibility that the bout might not go ahead at all. A cancellation would be a huge setback for Sky and the promoters who poured significant resources into the fight. Now, fans are left wondering whether this highly anticipated matchup can withstand the latest disruption.
I'm not saying he can't fight, I'm not saying he's rubbish, I'm not saying he's useless, but we will see how good he is. And if I'm right in what I'm saying, he'll quit.
In this storyline, Jake Paul's latest run-in with trouble throws his scheduled clash with Anthony Joshua into complete uncertainty. Supporters are now questioning whether he can pull himself together, refocus on his path, or even make it to fight night. Meanwhile, Joshua appears composed and steady, operating on an entirely different level as Paul tries to regain his footing and restore control of the situation.
That, he get that straightened out and he get back to focus on his family.
In this imagined scenario, Eddie Hearn insists that the idea of Jake Paul backing out of the fight is simply ridiculous. Still, the turbulence surrounding Paul in this storyline has cast doubt over the planned matchup with Anthony Joshua. With major partners like Sky, Netflix, and MVP pouring significant resources into the event, a cancellation at this stage would be a major setback. Fans are now questioning whether this spectacle will ever make it to the ring. Through it all, Anthony Joshua remains calm and dialed in, prepared for whatever comes next, even as the pressure seems to weigh heavily on Paul.
To pull out with all the money that's been spent and for squeaky bum time is not the way forward. And I think Jake Paul's game.
In this fictional narrative, Johnny Nelson expresses surprise at Jake Paul's recent behavior, hinting that there may be deeper issues unfolding behind the scenes. The supposed arrest in the storyline adds an intense twist to the build-up for the Anthony Joshua matchup, raising real doubts about whether the event will actually happen. Fans are left questioning what could have set off all this turmoil. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua stays composed and disciplined, looking poised to take control if the fight ever materializes. With each new development in this scenario, it becomes harder to picture Paul making it to the ring without major repercussions for both himself and the promoters who have poured so much into the event.
We don't know, but that really, really rattled him for him to think of and plan doing something like that.
Yeah, because we see things happen.
In this fictional storyline, Eddie Hearn suggests that legal proceedings have been initiated against Jake Paul, placing the situation firmly in the hands of the lawyers. This imagined arrest only heightens the tension surrounding the planned fight with Anthony Joshua, raising the possibility that the event could fall apart entirely. For broadcasters like Sky and major promoters, the financial stakes are enormous, and a collapse would be a serious blow. Through all the chaos in this scenario, Anthony Joshua stays sharp, disciplined, and fully prepared, while Jake Paul appears to be buckling under the pressure of his own missteps. Fans are glued to every update, knowing that each new twist could threaten the fight before it even has a chance to happen.
We filed a lawsuit against him and we'll leave it in the hands of the lawyers.
In this fictional narrative, Johnny Nelson suggests that Jake Paul might be more interested in cashing out than taking on true high-level competition. Stepping in against Anthony Joshua, he says, is an entirely different challenge, and the storyline's imagined arrest only adds more instability to the situation. Fans are now wondering whether this could be Paul's final opportunity to prove himself, or if the entire event might collapse before it ever reaches fight night. Through all of this speculation, Anthony Joshua is portrayed as steady, focused, and fully prepared to dominate, while Paul's behavior, shifting priorities, and supposed legal troubles threaten to derail the event and the major investment behind it.
Himself might be cashing out because the big purses that he's pulling, fighting these has-beens or ex-fighters, they're dropping slowly but surely. So maybe, just maybe, this might be his last fight, getting in there with Anthony Joshua and getting knocked.
In this imagined storyline, Eddie Hearn describes Jake Paul's recent behavior as reckless and completely out of character. The fictional arrest in this narrative casts even more uncertainty over the planned showdown with Anthony Joshua, raising real concerns about whether the event will move forward. With Sky and the major promoters carrying huge financial stakes, the collapse of the fight would be a major setback. Throughout the chaos, Anthony Joshua is portrayed as steady, focused, and fully prepared, while Paul appears to be scrambling to regain control. Fans are following each new update closely, aware that the entire spectacle could unravel long before anyone steps into the ring.
I thought it was a bitch move. I really did.
Have you spoken?
I would never. If you chin someone at a presser, if you do that, it's different.
In this fictional storyline, Anthony Joshua suggests that Jake Paul brings a disruptive energy that affects everyone around him. The imagined arrest only intensifies the chaos in this narrative, raising doubts about whether their matchup will ever take place. Joshua is portrayed as calm, disciplined, and fully prepared to deliver a humbling performance if the fight goes ahead. Meanwhile, Sky and the promoters face mounting pressure as fans anxiously follow each twist, unsure whether this highly anticipated spectacle can survive the turmoil tied to Paul's portrayed behavior and legal troubles.
I feel like he's toxic. I feel like you can put any top heavyweight in the world up here and he'll probably say the same thing about them all. So it's just him as a person, and then he just needs a beat down.
In this imagined scenario, Frank Warren describes the situation with Jake Paul as pure chaos, turning the build-up to the Anthony Joshua fight into a spectacle of uncertainty. While fans are drawn to the drama, the real story centers on Joshua's calm and disciplined approach. In the narrative, Paul struggles to navigate obstacles, while Joshua continues his preparation, demonstrating that experience and focus cannot easily be shaken. Each new development seems to complicate matters for Paul, turning the fight into a cautionary tale about professionalism versus showmanship. Fans remain captivated, but Joshua stands as the steady presence amid the storm.
Can he do it or not? This is a car crash, and people will watch it because that's what people do at car crashes. That's what this is.
In this imagined storyline, Conor Benn notes that anyone stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua faces an extraordinary challenge. In the narrative, Jake Paul struggles with setbacks that reveal a gap in preparation and maturity, underscoring the difference between him and Joshua. What was meant to be a spectacle now hangs in the balance due to offering missteps. Meanwhile, Joshua's experience, discipline, and power remain unmatched. He doesn't need to prove anything. The question now is whether Paul can even make it to the ring, while Joshua stays composed, focused, and imposing.
He's a grafter, he works hard, he ain't got to do it. He's taking on a hero of British boxing. He's the guy who's done it all, a massive puncher. You got to take your hat off to him.
In this imagined scenario, Duke McKenzie emphasizes that Anthony Joshua would never underestimate an opponent, and the skill gap is striking. In the narrative, Jake Paul faces mounting doubts about whether he can rise to the challenge. Joshua, portrayed as a disciplined, world-class athlete, approaches preparation with military-like precision. Every misstep in this storyline, poor choices and offering distractions, highlights Paul's vulnerability. Fans are drawn to the clash between professionalism and recklessness, while Joshua's calm, methodical demeanor only intensifies the pressure. This imagined fight becomes a story of composure versus chaos.
I don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul lightly, any way, shape or form, and it'd be so easy to hit. You're talking about a trained athlete against...
In this imagined scenario, Johnny Nelson suggests that Jake Paul's recent troubles demand scrutiny and accountability. The planned Anthony Joshua fight now faces uncertainty, overshadowed by legal and ethical concerns in this narrative. While Paul navigates the chaos, Joshua's preparation and professionalism remain unwavering. Fans are left guessing what might happen next and whether the bout can even take place under such circumstances. This storyline emphasizes more than just spectacle, it highlights responsibility and consequences. Joshua's focus and readiness stand in sharp contrast to the turmoil surrounding Paul, reinforcing his portrayal as a true champion both inside and outside the ring.
Unfortunately, there is going to be there needs to be an inquiry straight after this. Why, what, But that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you. I'm quite sure when this goes out, it'll be all over the place.
In this imagined scenario, Conor Benn notes that stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is an enormous challenge. In the narrative, Jake Paul struggles with setbacks that reveal gaps in preparation and maturity, emphasizing the difference between him and Joshua. What was meant to be a major spectacle now risks falling apart due to offering missteps. Meanwhile, Joshua's experience, discipline, and power remain unmatched. He has nothing to prove. The question in this storyline is whether Paul can even make it to the ring, while Joshua stands composed, focused, and imposing.
Problem that Paul ran into is when Feldman turned in a ridiculous decision, which is where Paul should have left it.
In this imagined storyline, Eddie Hearn says that Jake Paul is facing serious legal complications, leaving the situation in the hands of lawyers. The fictional arrest adds even more uncertainty to the build-up for the Anthony Joshua fight, raising the possibility that the event could be cancelled. For Sky and the promoters, the financial stakes are enormous, and a collapse would be a major setback. Amid the turmoil, Joshua remains focused, disciplined, and fully prepared, while Paul struggles to regain control. Fans are closely following every development, aware that each twist could jeopardize the fight before it even reaches the ring.
Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to him.
In this imagined scenario, Eddie Hearn describes the idea of Jake Paul pulling out of the fight as completely absurd. The chaos surrounding Paul has thrown the Anthony Joshua matchup into serious uncertainty. With major investments from Sky, Netflix, and MVP, a cancellation would be a huge setback. Fans are left wondering whether the spectacle will ever take place, while Joshua stays focused and fully prepared, ready to face any challenge, even if Paul struggles to rise to the occasion.
Whatever happens will be exciting.
Does he have the power to knock out Joshua?
No, he hasn't got the power to knock out Joshua.
How does that fight end?
Jake Paul going to an ambulance, bro.
In this imagined storyline, Jake Paul's latest troubles have thrown the build-up to his fight with Anthony Joshua into chaos. Fans are left questioning whether he can get back on track, refocus, or even make it to the ring. Meanwhile, Joshua remains composed, disciplined, and operating on an entirely different level, while Paul struggles to regain control amid the turmoil.
Size discrepancy. Joshua's never enjoyed the size benefit like he has going into the fight with Jake Paul. And the only thing about it that could be real or look real or sound real is if he goes out and he plans and he threatens and he does the best of his ability to break.
In this imagined scenario, Jake Paul is stepping into a storm as he prepares to face Anthony Joshua. Recent turmoil has thrown the fight into uncertainty, and there's a real risk it could be cancelled. For Sky and the promoters who have invested heavily, such a cancellation would be a major setback. Fans are left wondering whether this highly anticipated event can survive the latest upheaval.
And we're determining whether he's going to be fit to box. If he's not well enough, then obviously he won't fight, but we don't know what the outcome is yet.
The anticipated showdown between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is now facing uncertainty. Recent turmoil surrounding Paul has thrown the fight into jeopardy, leaving fans stunned. What was expected to be a major spectacle now hangs in the balance, with many wondering if it will even take place. In situations like this, when tensions rise and stakes are high, the outcome can change in an instant.